All right, so today we're looking at a standard rain barrel installation. Here's a solid rain barrel. It has an overflow hose over here, and the installation involves the addition of an elbow that deposits 100% of the water into this rain barrel. The issue here is that this overflow hose is far too small to keep up with the maximum flow that would be coming into this rain barrel. So what eventually happens is this rain barrel fills up in as little as 15 minutes, and then water starts flowing down the sides of the barrel and around your foundation, and this can lead to a leaky basement. You always want to get water as far away from your house as possible after you've saved as much as you can. So the solution to this issue, where you have insufficient overflow capacity compared to the amount of water that is going to be coming in, is called a downspout diverter. We have one here. This is the best downspout diverter, and basically what it does is it's going to redirect water to the rain barrel, and when the rain barrel is full, the excess water is going to pass through the downspout into a lower downspout and then away from the house. This is the solution to the insufficient overflow capacity on most rain barrels. All right, so we're going to unpack the best downspout diverter kit and look at all the components. The bag's open. We have a full set of instructions with diagrams. Next, we have the diverter kit itself, and we'll look at the components on it. First of all, it has a lid A that slides off like that, a lid B and C that just pull out. They're connected together but can be separated. Next, we have some UV sleeves. These are used to cover the diverter hoses to protect them from the sun. Next, we have a diverter hose and a second diverter hose, 2 diverter hoses in the standard kit. Next, we have a foam winter wall. This goes into the diverter to keep water out of the well so that water can pass straight through from the upper downspout to the lower downspout during winter. And that works in partnership with a reversible water slide. In the spring, summer, and fall, this directs water into the well. In the winter, it turns around in the other direction, and it helps keep water going straight through from the upper downspout to the lower downspout. A couple outlets, which the hoses will connect to. We have 3 different size reducers. So there's many different downspout sizes. The most popular are 3x4, 4x3, and 2x3. But there's also a whole variety of 3x3. So we have different reducers that reduce the existing 4x3 outlet or 4x3 exit on the downspout diverter to different sizes. And then we have a Ziploc bag that has a couple filter screens for the outlets to keep debris from going into the hoses into the rain barrel. We have an assortment of gaskets to seal up the outlets so that they don't leak. And we have 4 screws. The long screws are typically for the top of the diverter. The short screws are typically for the bottom of the diverter. The only other components are the 4 caps that are on the sides. These can be removed until you decide how you want to configure it. And these caps are made of a hollow cap and what we refer to as a cap plug. And that cap plug has an EVA foam gasket on it to help seal that up. And there are 4 of those on this. The standard kit comes with 2 hoses ready to hook up to 2 rain barrels or a rain barrel in the swimming pool, but this can be expanded to 4 or 8 outlets depending on your application and your use. At the time of this filming, we're actually designing another filter screen that will connect to the water slide, and it will keep debris out of the well completely. And it's just a secondary level of filtering to keep more debris out of the diverter and out of the rain barrels. All right, so we're going to look at configuring the downspout diverter to work for your installation. And there's really 4 different ways to do this. These are the outlets, and these are the openings on the side of the diverters that will accept these outlets. And the idea, if you're only going to connect a single rain barrel or a single swimming pool to this, it almost doesn't matter which one of these that you connect it to, but we do recommend that you connect to an upper level outlet, not an lower level outlet. The reason is that the lower level outlets will be closer to where debris might settle. So we want that, if debris goes in there, we want it to be able to wash out, or we want it to stay down there and not head over to the rain barrel or the swimming pool. When this well fills up full of water, it gets to a point where it spills over and goes down into the lower downspout. So excess water will pass right through the diverter and down the lower downspout. If you're hooking up two items, for example, two rain barrels, and you want them both to fill simultaneously, you would hook both rain barrels up at the same height, one on this side and one on this side. Right? But if you wanted those rain barrels to fill in a specific order, you want to fill one rain barrel first and then fill a second rain barrel second, you would use a lower outlet for the first rain barrel, and you would use an upper outlet for the second rain barrel. So this diverter uses a well, and a water slide redirects the water into the well. Once the water's in the well, it's going to go to the bottom of the well, and it should have an opportunity to either exit one of the lower openings or one of the upper openings. Obviously, gravity will take water down to the bottom of the well, and if there's anything connected to the lower side openings, water will exit through that. So for this particular installation, we're going to install a rain barrel on a lower level to fill it up first, and then a swimming pool on an upper level. Most excess water will go to the swimming pool. So we'll end up with an outlet on the bottom for the rain barrel, and we'll end up with an outlet up on the top for a swimming pool. We are going to take off the caps so that we can install the outlets instead. These just unthread this way. We separate the plug from the threaded cap. And this plug actually has an EVA, or a foam-like filter, or foam-like gasket on it. So we're going to take this cap, we're going to put an outlet inside of it, we're going to use one of the silicone gaskets, then we're going to put in one of the filter screens, the plastic filter screens, then we're going to put the foam or EVA gasket inside, and now we're going to thread that back onto the diverter. We're going to do the same for the upper one, which is going to go to the swimming pool. We're going to take this one off, all right, and we're just going to tighten these other caps, the ones that are going to remain solid. Make sure everything is good and tight in there. And the last one up here, and we are good to go. The next step in this installation is to install the rain barrel first. The rain barrel will ultimately determine the height at which the best downspout diverter needs to be installed. But if you're going to use a rain barrel stand, you must install that first, and then you install the rain barrel on top of the stand, and that is what you will use to determine the height of the best downspout diverter. So I'll install the stand, I'll install the rain barrel, and then we will start the steps to install the best downspout diverter. Okay, we have a good solid base, and our rain barrel is going to sit on top of that. So to determine the height of the diverter, we're going to turn the overflow outlet towards the downspout. And there's two ways to do this. You can have this lower outlet perfectly level with the top of the rain barrel so that the hose would come out and go into the top of the rain barrel. If you do that, you require an overflow hose on the rain barrel to run excess water away. But the other way to do this is to have this outlet perfectly horizontal with the overflow outlet on the barrel, and that way water comes out of the diverter, fills up into the barrel, and when it gets to about this height, no additional water can get into the barrel, and instead what it does is it rises up and comes out of this second outlet, which will take us over to a swimming pool, or it will rise even beyond that and it will spill out into the lower downspout and away from the house. So this is the actual installation that we're going to be looking at, filling the barrel through the overflow outlet. All right, so we're getting ready to mark the downspout as to where it needs to be cut, so that this diverter's side outlet is perfectly horizontal with the overflow outlet on the rain barrel, because we're going to send water from the diverter into the overflow outlet to fill the rain barrel. And when the rain barrel's full, no more water will be able to go across, and the water will rise in the diverter and spill over into the lower downspout. So let's get that set up perfectly horizontal. There it is. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pencil. I'm going to make a straight mark on the downspout along the top of the diverter. So there it is. We have a mark. Now I can take that away. There is our mark, but that is not the mark where we cut it. 1 inch of this downspout must go inside this best downspout diverter. So we want to take another measurement of 1 inch and make another mark, or basically bring the downspout diverter down 1 inch and make another mark across the downspout. And we can now erase this mark here, but this is the mark where we need to cut the downspout to have the best downspout diverter perfectly horizontal with the outlet on the barrel. All right, so we have our cut line marked on the downspout. It is helpful to extend it around the sides as well. So I'll do that because we really want to try to get a very straight cut. It's okay if the cut is a little bit sloped backwards towards the building. It's not okay if it's sloped forward away from the building. If it's cut sloped forward away from the building, then the removable water slide or the reversible water slide will have trouble clearing the front of the downspout. So you want to make sure that it's perfectly straight or just angled back slightly towards the house. I will cut that now. For the last part of the cut, I'm going to put a piece of cardboard in behind the downspout so that I don't mark the building. In this case, it's strapped so tightly to the building that I'm going to have to remove these screws just to pull it out a little bit, and then I'll continue on. There we go. After all that, we actually have a pretty straight cut, and we will be able to put our downspout diverter over that when we're ready to do so. The next step is to install the lower downspout. So before we connect the lower downspout to the bottom of the best downspout diverter, we have to cut a section of this lower downspout out because it was used up by the diverter itself. Typically, if you have a 4x3 downspout, you have to cut out 7.5 inches from the lower downspout. If you use any of the reducers, then you have to cut out 8.5 inches from the lower downspout. So the next step is to attach the lower downspout to the diverter. Now the diverter itself has a 4x3 opening on the bottom, but today we happen to be working with a 3x3 downspout. So we're going to have to reduce the 4x3 so that it will fit inside the 3x3 downspout. The best downspout diverter kit comes with 3 reducers. It has one that it reduces to a 2x3. It has one that reduces to a large 3x3 and one that reduces to a small 3x3. And basically all you do is you check the reducer and choose the largest one that will fit into your downspout. In this case, it was the larger 3x3 that fit into the top of this downspout. So we will take the reducer and we're going to insert it onto the bottom of the best downspout diverter. So the beveled edge inside must align with the indentation on the bottom of the diverter. So if they're not aligning, all you have to do is turn this 180 degrees and they will align. So let me just try that. There it is. And you heard it click into place. So now we have the 4x3 reduced to a large 3x3, and we're ready to install the lower downspout onto the bottom of the downspout diverter. Right, we now have our lower downspout attached to the bottom of the diverter. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to insert the top downspout into the diverter. All right, so we're now ready to connect the diverter to the upper downspout. And to do that, first we need to insert lid section B. And it goes into the top of the diverter, but it also goes to the very back wall of the diverter. You know you'll have it in the right position when the holes of lid B align with the holes on the diverter itself. Now that is ready to go. You'll see that there's a little tab inside lid part B, and that tab is there to support the upper downspout. The upper downspout is to sit on that tab. So I'm going to tip this back, and I'm going to slide lid part B in behind the upper downspout, and then I'm going to straighten it up so that the downspout is sitting on the tab on lid part B. So we're going to tip it back like this. We're going to pull the downspout out a little bit. We'll straighten out the lower downspout, and there it is. We're sitting on the tab, and now we're going to put the screws in through the side to hold the diverter to lid part B to the upper downspout. Here we go. Okay, so we're just catching the downspout now. It's going to take a little pressure. It's okay if it bends it over like that. Now it's punctured and it starts to center itself. We're going to do the same on the other side. Just move that out. The upper downspout pretty much centered inside lid part B. So we can continue securing the downspout back to the wall. We're going to reattach this at this point in time. It's always good to strap the downspout close to the diverter. The diverter adds a little bit of weight to it, not a lot. Even when it has water in it, it's not a lot of weight because it's only a small amount of water. It's also wise to strap it at the bottom as well. All right, so at this installation, again, we had concrete that was sloping towards the house, and we don't want any water near the house. So what we've done is we've installed a 50-foot flexible plastic pipe at the bottom of this downspout to take water far, far away from the house. The next step is to install the reversible water slide. This water slide goes underneath the lower downspout, and it will redirect water into the well area. It has two check blocks on top, and these match up with check blocks on the inside of the best downspout diverter. So it has a grasping handle in the center. You can hold it like that. You can hold this upright and start tipping it underneath the lower downspout. So it goes inside and it has to slide back. There we go. Now those check blocks are right over top of the check blocks inside, and the water slide is exactly where it needs to be. So we're now going to address lid section C. If you have a 4x3 downspout, you do not need to use lid part C. If you used any of the reducers, then you are going to need to use lid part C, and you have to determine which pieces you're going to cut out of this so that you get as tight a fit around the upper downspout as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold this in front of the downspout like that, and we're going to mark it on each side. I happen to know that this is a 3x3 large, so it's going to need to be cut along this edge and along that edge. But all you're really doing is aligning these lines with the sides of the upper downspout, making sure that this lid section C is centered on the downspout. So I'm going to need to cut there, I'm going to need to cut there. You're also going to have to do the side. So you're going to have to bring this over to the side and align this edge with the interior edge of lid part B to determine where we're going to cut up front. And I'm going to have to cut at the largest area. So basically, I'm going to have to remove everything, all the pieces inside lid section C, for this to have the most ideal fit around the upper downspout. We're going to do that next. You can do that with pliers, with an X-Acto knife, any tools that you're comfortable with. You're just going to end up snapping out these little pieces that need to be removed so this fits around the upper downspout. So you have a choice of different types of tools. You could use an X-Acto knife and cut through the plastic that way, like this. There we go. And or you could use something like needle nose pliers and just start bending these pieces out of the way. All right, so we've removed the pieces that were not required so that this fits around the large 3x3 downspout. You'll see that the letter C is in the top corner. It's important that that faces up because the bottom side is a little bit different than the top side. So we're going to put that over top now of lid section B, and we're just going to press it in place. There it is on this side. Expand it a bit. There it is on that side. And basically it just closes up the opening around the downspout to give you a better seal there. All right, and now we're ready to put on the last section, which is lid section A. It slides on over top of these protrusions on the side to hold it in place so the wind doesn't blow it away. But that seals it up like that. This will go underneath it. It holds lid section C in place on top of lid section B. So now it's all put together. Whenever you need to inspect or clean the diverter, you can just remove lid section A and you have access to that. You can also reach in and pull out the reversible water slide for cleaning or for winterizing this unit. I'll just show you one of the pieces that is used when we are winterizing it. When we want water to go from the upper downspout to the lower downspout, we insert a foam winter wall into the bottom part of the best downspout diverter, and we reverse the direction of the reversible water slide. So let me see if I can take that out. There it is, coming out. So you'll see that there's a rectangular area down here, and that is meant to hold this foam winter wall in place when it's inserted inside the diverter. The foam winter wall works with the water slide, but the water slide gets turned in the opposite direction. So together, they form an interior wall to keep all water out of the well and have water go from the upper downspout directly into the lower downspout. Okay, so the next step in the installation of the best downspout diverter is to connect the diverter hose. So you just have to extend the hose to whatever distance is required to go from the outlet on the diverter over top of the overflow outlet on the rain barrel. Had I installed this a little bit higher with this outlet equal to the top of the barrel, I would be extending this from the outlet to the center of the basket, maybe even in the basket. But today we're just going from the diverter outlet to the overflow outlet on the barrel, which is actually quite a short distance here. And I don't need to stretch this hose at all. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut a length of this UV sleeve, exactly the same length as the hose, so that the entire hose is covered by the UV sleeve to protect it from the sun. So I'm just going to mark that, and you can cut it with scissors or an X-Acto knife. I happen to have an X-Acto knife, and I will do that on the ground with a piece of cardboard. I now have 2 pieces. You can keep the other piece just in case you need it in years down the road. And we will now insert the diverter hose inside the UV sleeve. There it is. Bring the ends out a little bit, both sides. And we're going to attach that to the overflow outlet on the barrel first. Then we're going to compress the hose, and we're going to connect it to the outlet on the best downspout diverter. There we go. We have our hose running perfectly horizontal to fill the barrel, and we have it protected by the UV sleeve. The second part of this installation was to hook up to a swimming pool. Water is now going to come to the lower level in the well, and it's going to exit through the outlet on the one side to fill the barrel first. If water comes into the diverter faster than it can pass over to the rain barrel, it will then start coming out an upper level and go over to the swimming pool. And if it comes into the diverter faster than the rain barrel and the pool can receive the water, it will then spill out down the lower downspout and into that 50-foot pipe, taking it far away from the house. So we're just at the final stage of connecting the best downspout diverter to a rain barrel, which gets filled up first, and then it fills a swimming pool through the swimming pool vacuum hose, which is connected to the skimmer, so the water is filtered right away. And all I have to do is put this over top of the outlet on the upper level of the best downspout diverter. Here we go. And that's it. It's all connected, ready to go. So at the beginning of the day, we had a situation where we had a rain barrel located right here, and the downspout came down and it was cut to send 100% of the rain into the barrel. But that rain barrel, like almost all rain barrels, has insufficient overflow capacity. The overflow hose isn't nearly large enough to keep up with the amount of rain that can come down through any downspout. The best downspout diverter is a perfect solution for that. Today we have it hooked up to a different rain barrel, but it fills that rain barrel to capacity, and then water rises up in the best downspout diverter and starts to flow over to the swimming pool filter system. And if water continues to enter the downspout diverter faster than it can go to the rain barrel and to the swimming pool, it rises up further and spills over into the lower downspout, which is connected to a 50-foot flexible pipe that takes it far away from the house. So the best downspout diverter has eliminated any opportunity for flooding around the house as a result of a rain barrel that's overwhelmed by the volume of water that is entering it. And that's really what you want to do. You want to store as much water as you can, but you must get the excess water away from your home, and a best downspout diverter is the best way to do that. So our goal is to collect as much water as we can, and the purpose of that is to save water, save money, and grow great gardens.